Hello everyone, welcome to the TSS. In this class, we are going to study the topic called models. So, at last, we reached the stage of model layer, friends. In the last classes, what we had gone through, we had gone through the MVT mechanism, right? So, in the MVT mechanism, what we had studied, we had studied about the templates layer and the view layer. So view layer consists of what? The functions, the business logic, okay? And the templates layer consists of what? Simply HTML files that has to be served onto the web page, okay? So those two layers we studied in the last classes, okay? Template layer we had studied and the view layer we had studied. Now we will study about the model layer. Okay, so let me revise that request to response cycle so that you can understand the concept better, right? So let me go back to that request to response cycle. Right, now here, so what is request to response cycle? So we open a browser and request a web page, right? So that request will first handled by Whiskey. Whiskey means it's a shortcut. We will call it as Whiskey. So the name is web server gateway interface. Okay. So after that it will forward that request to urls.py file. So if the patterns are available inside the urls.py file, then that request will forward to the corresponding view function. Okay, so then that view function will executes its own business logic. Okay, and then returns the output to the template layer. This is a view layer, this is a template layer. So it will do its own business logic, processing logic, and returns the output to the template layer. So template layer will consist of all the HTML files, right? So then the HTML files will be sent to the web server as a response, and which in turn that HTML file will be displayed onto the browser. Okay, this is the request to response cycle. So in this cycle, in our last classes, we had covered the view layer. Okay, view layer we had covered, and the template layer we had covered means we have studied about these two layers, template layer and view layer. And now we are going to study about this part. Okay, this part, models, databases. Okay, very interesting topic, friends. So in our earlier classes we had uh, designed some patterns and connected that pattern to a particular view function, and we did some small things. So we had sent the output of the view function to the HTML, injecting the data, output data of the view function to the template by using template tags. All those things we had saw in the last classes, but we doesn't deal with the models. Okay, models means databases. So if user requests some huge data that was stored inside the database, then what we should do to access that data and returns that data to the HTML. Okay, that part we will do now. Okay, we will discuss about the model layer. Okay, please here you observe closely that upon receiving the request, all these subroutines will take place. After checking, the request will come to the view function. The view function will execute. So if there is requirement of data, then the view function will access the model layer. This model layer will consist of all the database tables, friends. Okay, so simple models.py inside this models.py, what it will be there, what will be there inside the models.py? It's simply database tables definitions, okay, in the form of Python classes, right? So then that models will be created inside the actual database, okay. In between there are the managers. That managers is nothing but ORM, object relation mapping. So in the other words, it is here in this diagram it's called as managers. So what it will do is models.py consists of Python classes. So that classes is converted into database language, okay. So if you are using MySQL, then you need to write all the codes in MySQL statement. So if you don't know the MySQL statements, no problem, Django will have ORM support that will take care of. You please write all your database table definitions in the form of Python classes, so that Django will convert that Python classes to corresponding database native language. If you use MySQL as your database, then your Python classes which defines the database table will be converted into corresponding MySQL statements. And if you use the PostgreSQL, then the same Python classes will convert to the corresponding PostgreSQL native statements, right? So that much of flexibility is there in Django, friends. Okay, so now we are going to study about this part, model layer, right? So let me go back and now explain the things, because if you don't know where you are working and where you are learning, in which stage you are learning, so actually it is like wandering in the forest without knowing entrance and exit, okay. So let us learn the any subject systematically. Now the models. What is the models? Let us discuss. Django have model layer for data management tasks in a database. Data management tasks means we already know in my MySQL tutorials I had discussed this. Okay, CRUD. Generally, the CRUD means creation of database table, reading the data from the table, updating the data in the table, and deleting the data from the table. These are the common tasks which we are going to perform in the database. Okay, these are called data management tasks. Okay, so for doing this task, any website need to store information, right, friends? So that information will be uh, captured or taken by the user, okay, in the form of HTML forms. We will use HTML forms to take the user data and store inside the database table in so that is a specific case. We will manage the user data by storing the data from the front end to the back end web server and in the database server. Through the web server we will store all the data into the database server, right? Okay, now so that is one use case, and another use case is if you have some let us say amazon.com or flipkart.com, like that e-commerce sites. So that sites have huge data about its products, services, discounts, everything. So that data is available in their databases, okay. If we want to see some mobile phone or some laptop cost, what you will do, you will go to that link and you will press that link. Then all the models of laptops or mobile phones which are under say 20,000 or in between 20,000 to 50,000 mobile models, all those things come up and display onto the screen, okay. So those data are all stored in a database, friends. Okay, so that means you are reading the data there. So for all that kind of database stuff, we have model layer in the Django. So this model layer is the responsible for all data management tasks. This much you please remember. Next, Django provides inbuilt SQLite 3 database for development purposes. Okay, in Django, in our last classes, after running the development server, if you observe into the project directory, so one additional file called SQLite 3 will be created. Okay, that database will be used for development purposes. That means you need not set up some other Postgres or MySQL database server by installing separately. For testing your site, some small database will be enough. Okay, so Django out inbuiltly is having SQLite 3 database. Okay, so we will make use of this database for our practice purposes, right? And then the view layer will make use of model layer for all data requirements, and then return the processed data to the template layer. Okay, this is the this is the point which we had discussed earlier in the request to response cycle also. Okay, the flow is the view layer will make use of model layer for all data requirements, and then return the processed data to the template layer. Okay, and then the next point is Django provides ORM support. ORM means object relation mapping. Okay, so that means it will treat all the database tables and the data as objects, friends. Okay, so which gives flexibility to developer to develop write Python statements for defining database tables. Okay, instead of writing statements in native DB language. That means what? The flexibility ORM is giving is what flexibility? You no need to write any MySQL statements. Okay, so for writing MySQL statements, you need to know the SQL language. Okay, dedicated commands, native commands, and if you use some Postgres SQL as your database, Postgres SQL database, then you need to write your database statements in PostgreSQL syntax. Okay, if you use MySQL database, then you need to write MySQL statements. That syntax is specific to the MySQL, and PostgreSQL syntax is specific to PostgreSQL. Okay, if you use Oracle database, then Oracle has its own syntax of writing the statements. So nobody will sit down and patiently learn all those databases, right? Okay, so the ORM support, what it will do is, instead of writing the database code in their native languages, native database languages, so ORM will make developer to write the database table code in the form of Python classes. Okay, so the ORM will take care of the conversion part. That means it will convert the Python classes to the native database language. Okay, so that internally the Python classes will be converted into their corresponding database type SQL statements. Okay, so that is what I had written here. ORM will in turn convert Python statements to native DB statements internally. All these things you should know, friends. Then only we will go to the practical sessions. Okay. Now, so what are the steps to create a model? Right. After creation of web project and a web app, follow below steps. So after creating our web project with Django's dash admin start project, the project name, the basic project file structure will be created, and then we will create one web application. So whatever name you want, you can uh, create the application with that name, and then by creating the application, what are all the files needed for that application will be created automatically for you. Like in the last classes we saw that some files will be created like models.py, okay, views.py, and then apps.py, test.py. All those files will be created automatically for you, right? So in those files, what we should do, let us concentrate. Number one, you need to open models.py file in application folder and create a db table. Db means database table, okay, by writing Python classes. Okay, so the models.py file consists of the database table definitions, friends. Okay, first we have to define a database table. So table consists of rows and so columns. Okay, table means what? So it's a data frame, the data which is systematically arranged in the form of columns and rows. Okay, right. So all those table structure will be defined by using Python classes, right? And then register the defined model in admin.py file. So where this admin.py file exists, so this admin.py file exists inside the application folder itself. Okay, so if you register the defined model inside the admin.py file, then it will be available for admin interface. That means you can view this model by opening the admin interface web page. Okay, and then what we need to do, define the necessary view function to access the model data and inject accessed data into HTML template. Okay, first two steps will uh, what these first two steps will do, it will define the models and then register the models to the admin.py file, and then so to make these models available to the view function, that means let the view function access the models.py, and through the models.py it will contact the database and it will access the data inside the database, and then the accessed data will be injected into the HTML template. Okay, now let's move to the practical part. Now, okay, so we are in our VS Code, friends. Create let us create one new project. So Django admin create project. Let us take some college. Okay, college, a college project. Okay, sorry, start project. Okay, start project college. Now in the desktop the college project will be started. Okay, now let us see it. Okay, here it is. So if you open that, it is having one subfolder called college. So inside that all the needed files was created. Let us add that folder to the workspace so that we will see inside our VS Code. Okay, this is college main project folder, and again this is a subdirectory which consists of all the management files. Okay, now we need to create one application. Django admin start app. So let us create okay, let's take students. Okay, now we need to go inside that college directory. Okay, so then only it will create inside the college project directory, otherwise it will create in the desktop. Okay, now I am moving inside the college directory, and then I am giving the command. So then now you can see inside the college one student's application was created with all the necessary files. Okay, now in the students application we have init.py, admin.py, apps.py, models.py, tests.py, views.py. So this view we had discussed earlier, right? Now we have to discuss this models.py file. Okay, and now so after creation of the students application, what we need to do from our last classes, we need to tell the Django that one application I have created, you please recognize. So how we need to tell to the Django, open the settings.py file and add that application name to the installed apps variable. Okay, so it's like a revision, friends. Now and save it. Okay, so then Django will understand, okay, one student's application is available to my web project, right? So now open the URLs file. Okay, in the views let me write one function, some function diff index request. Okay, request a return what, render request, then the template name let us index.html. Let us use this HTML. I didn't create it yet, let me create it. Okay, so for that we need to add the templates layer, right? So for that we need to create oh, here one folder. Okay, in the project level we'll name it as templates. So then we will inside this template we will create one file called index.html. Okay, so the templates directly should be recognized by the Django. Then what we should do, we will open the settings.file, then under this directory we will name one more templates directory. Templates dir is equal to what, os dot path dot join base dir with what, templates. So the name of the folder which we had used here is templates. Okay, so we need to tell the Django that the templates, you please search this path for the HTML files. Okay, that is the essence. And then you need to come to this variable, and in the directories folder you need to mention that templates directory variable. Okay, now we had what we have done till now. We had created a project called college. So inside that college we had created one app called students. Okay, and the templates folder. Okay, we had created one view function also. In the view function we didn't find any logic yet. Okay, but upon receiving the request it will serve the index.html stored inside the HTML template. Now what we will do, so we have to connect this view function to the URL patterns, right? So what URL patterns, that is our wish. Now path, let us say empty pattern. Okay, that means after website name, if anybody doesn't provide any details, then it will execute the view function. So I will make use of direct view function. Let us from students import views. Okay, now I will import start index. Okay, so all these things we had saw in our original classes. I am not going to explain it in detail. Okay, the essence is, so whenever the browser opens and use the site address, and then it will comes here and searches for the paths, and it will execute its corresponding view function, that is called index function. Okay, the index function, and it will serve the processor logic to the index.html template which exists inside the templates folder, right? For now let us take some HTML document. uh, so and then we had head section, and then body. So this class is a revision, like a revision class. Okay, so till now what we have did, all at a glance I am telling. So in addition to that we will discuss the models concept also. Title. Okay, title is what? Students. And the body, I will make use of some simple h1 tag. I am students home page. Okay, now let us go to the command line and python manage.py run server. So it is telling the problems 22 views dot index. That means students dot views has no attribute index. Okay, so let us open the views, index.html. Let us open the URLs students.views. Okay, it will come and execute the views, and then so I am not saved this one. That is the problem. Okay, so now the server comes up. Now go and give the URL address, execute. Here I am students home page comes up, right? So up to this part in the last classes we had saw everything. Okay, now from here we will discuss about our models concept. Now we need to create some models, okay, inside this students app. Let us see the notes. After creation of web project and the web app, these steps we had till now we did. Now we need to open models.py in the application folder and create db tables by writing Python classes. Okay, so let us, so the models.py where it is available inside the application, students application models.py. Okay, here we need to define your database tables in the form of Python classes. Now class say student data. So we will take inheritance. Okay, student data models dot model, right? That means what? We are taking this class is inheriting from this class. Okay, now we will define all the columns here. Okay, so while creating the any database table, what we did, so we need to create columns. Okay, right? Let us take roll number and model dot models dot okay, model dot we need to do it something like this. The inheritance is okay, models dot model models dot char field, some char field should come up here. It is not coming means I am doing some, we need to make this code. I think VS code is Intel is working or not. Let us check in my test website. I have already tested it. So we need to use models. Okay, now go to the our models, integer, some auto sensing will come. Okay, models dot integer field, or otherwise I will just copy it. Okay, copying this code which I already tested it. So in order to save some time, okay, now what it is, let me explain. So the student data is our, it will become the table name, and this roll number, name, branch, all this will become the column names of the table. Okay, then models dot integer field. So what it tells is, so this column name is an integer. Okay, this column should consist of integer data only. And then what the name column should consist? The name column should consist only character data. And then branch. The branch column consists of only character data only. Okay. So this is the our simple table, friends. Okay. So this is very simple table. I am not complicating anything. Okay. So this is all this is defined in the Python code. Okay. So the ORM support comes here, and it will come here, and it will convert all this Python code into SQL code. Okay. So for that thing to happen, we need to give what? Let us open the nodes. Okay. After that, what you need to do? Register the defined model in admin.py file. Okay. So let us do that. So definition part is over. We need to now define this table name. We need to register this table name to the admin.py file. Here we need to import it from dot, that means current directory, import students dot models. Okay, or models dot, that means current directory students only, we don't need to mention it again. Models dot student data. Okay, now we need to register that to the admin.py file. How you need to register? So for that we need some decorator code is there. So let me use that one. We will make use of admin dot site dot register and the app name, that sorry, the model name student data. This style also we can register, no problem. But an error comes up here. Let me do it again. Admin dot site dot register models dot student data. Okay, here is also models dot student data is there. Okay, admin what error it is showing. So errors are very much useful. that it will tell, it will teach us lot of subject, friends. So the file name, directory name or volume label syntax is incorrect. Or let me define it in another way by using decorator method. Let me run one more time. What it is named, file name, directory name or volume name. uh, okay, let me do like this: students import models. Okay, let us do it like this: models import student data. Now let us make it and try to run the server. This time let us see. Okay, so that means this path I had done mistake. Okay, now what we have done, we had imported the student data that is defined in the models to the admin page, and then we had registered that particular model to the admin site. Okay, now if you go and open the admin, that is 127, okay, slash admin. So before going to that, because we are dealing with a new project, we need to do some migrations. Okay, so let us migrate all these things. Make Python manage.py make migrations. This command we need to give, must and should, this command should be given. So what this particular command will do is, it will migrate, that means it will migrate all the models. Okay, so if you add or remove any column to this particular database table, then it should store all these changes in particular file, that is inside the students. We are having one migrations is there, no? Inside this migrations it will store all the changes. Okay, so let us do it. Okay, here it was done, migrations for students. Okay, students migrations, this is the number, this number indicates the file name. Okay, file name of migration, first change. Okay, so if you go and delete this branch, then it will store that change in the other file called 0002, like that. So it has come up and say model was created. And then if you go and see inside this migrations, you will see this is the data. What this is, all these things are doing by the ORM, friends. Okay, so here you can see all these classes are defined for you. Okay, so you no need to do anything, and this code is readily available. And for converting this particular code to the native SQL code, you need to give the important command python manage.py migrate. Okay, so please observe the difference. Make migrations will store all the changes related to the database table inside the migrations folder, so inside the application. Okay, so for converting that Python classes to the corresponding SQL database, you need to give python manage.py migrate command. Okay, now I am giving it. Here you can see all those migrations are being applied. Here applying all migrations, admin, authentication, content tab, sessions. These four are inbuiltly available applications. The student's application is user defined application. Inside we have one model is also there. So that model name is student data. In Django, please remember model is equal to DB table. Okay. Simply a database table is called model. Now all these codes are converted. Okay. That means the native SQL codes are generated. And if you want to see that SQL code for this particular Python class, you can make use of the command called python manage.py SQL migrate and the application name, students application, and the number of the file. Here you can see inside the students application, inside the migrations folder, we have the Python class file. Here you need to give this number 001. The number is enough. If you give like this, you can see this is the native code, actual SQL code. Okay, so create table. Okay, students underscore student data, id integer not null, primary key, auto increment. Okay, so these are the constraints. These are the constraints, and id is the foreign key. I mean, sorry, primary key, right? So roll number, this is one column name, that is integer data will come. Name is the another column name. Branch is the another column name. All these SQL code was generated by Django ORM. See how much flexible it is. If you use PostgreSQL database, it will convert into PostgreSQL syntax automatically, right? But this Python code is same whether you make use of MySQL or PostgreSQL or Oracle database. For all databases, this Python code is same, but ORM will convert into corresponding databases. Okay, right. Now let us move to the admin interface to see the created database. And now it is not reachable. Why? Because we had not run the server yet. Python manage.py run server. Okay, I am making the server up. Okay, server is now running with all the configurations. Here you can see admin interface. Now we had left one thing. What? We need to create one more configuration, right? So because this is a new project we had taken up as a revision, we need to create everything. Okay, so let us python manage.py create super user, right? We need to create one super user, so otherwise we won't access the admin interface. So let us create one user called let us take mbr and then mbr at gmail.com. Password, some password we will give. So it is not taking, so the password must be 8 characters long. mbr. Okay, now it is taken. Now we had created the super user also. Let us go and give here mvr and password mvr Now we need to run the server. Python manage.py run server. Now all the things was set. Go and give page and then log in with the super user credentials. Right. Now you can see in the groups users is a default authentication authorization. But now we had created one new model called students data. That model is nothing but a database table. Inside what? Students application. If you click this one, okay, you can see there is no records. If you want to add any record, you can add, okay, add. So Django interface is very nice, friends. Okay, this roll number, let us say 1. Students is say the name of the student, say Chandra Kumar, and then branch is say ECE. Okay, save and add another. That means we are storing the records. In the models we had defined the columns, and from the admin interface we are loading the data inside the database table. And then the roll number 2, say Virat, branch is CSC. Okay, let's save and the another record. 3, name is Sriram, and a branch, let us say Tripoli. I am adding this record, and then I am adding another record. 4, the name is Shiva, let us take CSC. Save and add another. And 5, let us take Raghava, branch is ECE. Okay, save. Okay, let us, it's enough. Let us come here. It is telling that some 5 objects are appearing. Okay, so this is not an user friendly way of displaying the things. So in order to display the things in a tabular format, let us do some modifications to the admin file. Okay, so since we are used this method of registration, so it will come like this. Okay, like this, it will show like this only. So if you do some customization of registration while registering the data, okay, so it is good in the tabular format, it will be available. So that I had did here. Let me copy that code, and make this as here. Now students data, so here what I am doing is, instead of simply registering the student data to admin site register method, what I am going to use is for customization purpose, friends. So I want to make this list appear as a tabular column. So class students admin dot model admin. From these class we are taking inheritance, and we are making this roll number name branch to appear as a list ordered by roll number, search fields, roll number and name. So if you give like this, the view will change. I'm changing it, saving it. Okay, now let us just refresh the students home. Okay, if you see, now the view has changed. Roll number 5, the name Chandra Kumar, Virat, Sriram, Shiva, Raghava, all those things has comes up, and the branch corresponding branches is also comes up. So this is a very smart way of doing the things. So it is appearing in the form of tabular form. And if you instead of this thing, if you do simple registration, then this view won't come. Okay, in form of objects it will be created. Okay, now so what are all the things we had did? We had created a project application and created one view file, and after that we inside the application we had opened the models and defined the database table called student data, that is having roll number as a column, name as a column, branch as a column. So the roll number column should be given only integer data, name should be character data, and the branch should be character data only. These are all the constraints, and the maximum length should be 30. If you give more than 30, error will come. Okay, and then after that definition, what we did, we registered this student model data model to the admin site like this first. So this type of registration is not that much appealing, so that we had followed this decorator method. So that view is very much appealing, right? So after that what we did, we make the run server up, and then we had gone to that administration interface. Okay, admin interface here, and open the students table and add the student data. Okay, so we had loaded some data to the database table. Now up to this the concept is very clear. Now we need to access this data from the view function. That means we need to connect our view functions to this model, and then do the processing logic, and then the output of the view function should be forwarded to the template. How we will do all these things, let us discuss. So open the view function. Here you need to import that from students, okay, dot models, import what, so what student data. Okay, so this is the data base table name. Okay, so that database table name which was defined inside here, we are importing into our use file, right? So inside what we will do is, we will let us say some data. We'll take one variable and students data dot objects dot all. So that means students data is a class, so it is having the objects of records. Okay, some 5 records are available, so we are accessing that records dot all. Actually this is what, this is a reading function. Okay, reading. So this is a ORM language, friends. So originally in the SQL language, this statement is in the form of select star, okay, from student data table. That command is there. So instead of writing the native SQL command, what we are doing is, we are using the ORM language, objects.all. So this ORM language consists of so many types. So I'm not going to discuss all those things, but since this is a basic class, I'm discussing very basics. Okay. So what it will do is, it will go and open the students data table and selects all the records and store into the data variable. Now we need to send this data, so that 5 records are available inside the data. Now we need to send this data in the form of context. Okay, so context is equal to let us define context. So let us std student. Okay, that is the context dictionary I am defining, and then data. Okay, as a key I am giving, this is the key, this is the value. Okay, now so what, let us discuss from first. So after observing the URL here, it will execute the views.index. So let's go and open the views.index. In the views.index, so it encounters the students.data. The students.data is the database table available in the models. So in the models, so these are all the column names defined. Okay, so which is having 5 records in the backend. Okay, so it will access all those objects. So the loading of records was done by making use of Django admin side. Okay, by using the shell also we can do, but it will some complication. So graphical user is very much user friendly, that's why I did like that. So after receiving that request, it goes to the database, connects to the model layer, and model layer in turn will connect to the native database, and whatever data is stored in the database table, that data will be stored inside the data variable. So these data should be injected to the index.html available inside the index.html. Okay, so by making use of what, by making use of template tags. Okay, let me use the template tags. Okay, say template tags is what, std, that means students, because the key is std only. Okay, so now I'm saving everything, sorry, saving. Now let us go and give the basic URL. You can see now, in addition to the I am students home page, we are able to present the data which we are accessed from the model layer. Okay, through view function, the query set, that means this is the record one, first record, student data object is there. So like that, second object, third object, fourth object, fifth object. So because this is an object, we need to use some looping mechanism to access this, right? So let us use the looping mechanism. Okay, so looping tags, right? Okay, for I in std. Okay, so std means the key. Okay, now now end for. Okay, end for, we will do, so this is the block. So std is the key which consists of all the objects. We need to rotate it. So take one paragraph tag and use the variable tag now I dot roll number. That means each object which is having inside the std will be stored in the I. So now I consists of each key value pairs. Okay, so the I dot its roll number. Okay, the roll number is the key and the value will become the data stored inside the roll number record. Okay, so that will happen, and like that we are having name and then what, branch. Okay, branch, right. So let me use some thematic break for each one, each record. Okay, so I am saving it. So now it is appearing like this. So if I give refresh, here you can see now. So because of using for loop, someone first thematic break comes, so it goes and assesses the first roll number and its corresponding name, its corresponding branch. After that, one break. Next loop, second time, the second roll number we dot csc. Okay, so now this page consists of the full-fledged request response cycle that includes the view layer, model layer and the template layer. Okay, all this data we are accessing from the database. From what database? SQLite 3. Okay, and this database is not belonging to the view function. The view function has borrowed this data from the data layer. Okay, so open the view function. Okay, here the view function is contacting students.data that is available in model file. Here we have defined this one. Okay, so in turn this will contact the backend database for the records. So let us see that here. This is the database table which we had created. Okay, so all these records will be accessed from the backend database and then will injected to the index.html. Okay, so let's open that index.html. Inside the index.html template we had used the for loop mechanism because there are more than one record. So to inject more than one record we need to make use of for loop, and we had accessed the data successfully, right? Okay friends, so this is about the models layer. So the page which you are seeing is a full-fledged request response cycle. In this page all the layers are included. Okay, view layer. Okay, let me discuss that one here. Okay, so all these stages was gone through. Okay, we had opened the web server, request the web page. So in turn the Whiskey will forward that request to the URLs paths are matched. That request was mapped to the view layer. The view layer will in turn contacts the model, which model? Students data database table model. Okay, so that model will in turn contacts the ORM through the SQLite 3 database and then get the all the data. The data which was accessed from the database was returned by the view function to the template, which template? Index.html template, and that index.html is served back to the browser as a response. Okay, so now from the in this class all layers was included. Okay, so this is about Django models. So since we had created from the start as a revision class, we did that is from creating right from new project. and web application and registering those apps in the install apps and templates, all those things. This class is somewhat becoming big, okay, but it's worth, friends, okay. It's a revision class up to now, and then we had discussed the models concept also, okay. So in the next class we will see the next topics, friends. Till then, bye bye. Yours Veera signing off. Thank you for listening.